This is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
Good morning, everybody. Are you having a good Monday? Are you liking this time change? It's probably not Monday for you guys because it'll take me 2 days to edit it. But for me, it's Monday morning, March 14th. I'm drinking an iced coffee. I've just, had some of that Starbucks pre-made coffee, the thick dark roast one. It's like a syrup. Put some creamer in there, threw some ice. I am already running late today because of the time change and whatnot. At least that'll be what I tell everyone at work. In actuality, I'm just very tired. We moved all weekend, and I'm just we got a new place, so we're moving out. And yeah, I'm just feeling a little exhausted, and I got myself an easy coffee to film this. Unfortunately, I have a lot to say about what I watched this week, so the show must go on. And that show is Cobra Kai. I finished the last season of Cobra Kai. Now, I had never seen Cobra Kai. I had zero interest in Cobra Kai when it first came out. I saw that it was getting like insanely good reviews, and I was just it was a YouTube Red show at the time, and it was definitely something I thought it was attributed to how few people saw it, how few people were actually into the show, that such a high percentage of them actually liked it. Like, who's got YouTube Red if you've got a show that's halfway decent and it's a Karate Kid show and you're a Karate Kid fan? I'm like, okay, I mean, sure, they say it's good, maybe it's not that bad, but I doubt I'll like it that much. And I was wrong. It's great. I love it. So on one hand, it's occasionally very dumb. There's a lot of dumb things that happen in it. Like, I would say what I would call the show is a soap opera. It's a soap opera that is also about karate. Because all of these characters are consistently in each other's business, fighting over love and romance, and then fighting over like personal status, and there's revenge, and people end up in the hospital. And then there's like all the interpersonal relationships, the drama happening between individuals. Very, very soap opera. But also, it's got the karate element, and not just like, the conflict is shown in a lot of physical fights, which it is. That's very much what it's about. But you've also got this warring karate dojo element, and each one has their own philosophy on how to teach to fight, and all of the problems that come with each perspective is very well done. It's very surprisingly well done. I gotta say, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I would say it has an excellent understanding of dramatic writing. I think there's a really good comparison to be made between it and Euphoria, because Euphoria has all of the pretense that Cobra Kai does not have. Euphoria has this amazing high production cinematography with all of these phenomenal actors that are super well trained, and they are all, it's very young and hip and cool and just rich and lush, like exotic, interesting, but just very surface level interesting. Once you dig deep into Euphoria, you kind of hit there's nothing under the crust. Now, it's a beautiful crust, but it doesn't quite give you everything you need. Which is why I'm gonna adjust my rating for it. I think in my Euphoria episode, I gave it a 9 out of 10, which I do love all of the lush production. All of the superficial elements are great. It's like candy. It's like a really good candy. This Cobra Kai show, it does so much more. So anyways, the Euphoria rating is gonna go down to an 8. Because this Cobra Kai show is gonna get an 8. I like to save those for the end. But yeah, the Cobra Kai show is gonna get an 8. Because what Euphoria has in all of its positive elements, it lacks in everything Cobra Kai excels at. And that's really the dramatic writing. All of every character in the show is so much more fleshed out than in Euphoria. Like, they're all have a depth to them, and it's not a depth like in Euphoria where it's like everyone has a tragic sadness backstory and depressing underpinning that makes them extra sad and extra relatable. In Cobra Kai, you've got plot and the story that you're experiencing be the driving force. Like, I understand Eli Moskowitz so much more than fucking Cassie in Euphoria. But Eli, or Hawk as his pseudonym in the most of the show goes, he is an interesting character because I don't know if I want to get too much into spoilers, but I might. Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna be spoilery from here on. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's really good. He allowed his persona to run the show, and it ended up getting completely out of hand. He became someone that he really wasn't, and he noticed that in season 3. He noticed how much he wasn't who he was anymore, and that's what ended up making him switch sides. His really defense mechanism, aggressive persona that he adopted in order to cease the bullying in his life became a bully itself. So he sheds that in season 4. Well, I mean, it gets shed for him. He gets his mohawk cut off. He reestablishes his self-confidence on his own terms without having to adopt a persona. And you see him grow so much throughout the show. You see a person starting one way, going through things, learning lessons, and ending up another way. That is classic drama. That is good drama, and that's something shows like Euphoria just lack. There's not much character growth at all in something like Euphoria. So yeah, anyways, changing that rating for Euphoria to 8, so it can't surpass Cobra Kai. Even though Cobra Kai's got flaws, and I think one of those flaws you could say is really boring cinematography. It's very standard. It's very soap opera. It's very just whatever you need to get to the dramatic points. I think there's a lot of other things that are kind of stupid in it too. But I just want you to know I love it. These aren't deal breakers, but the show, it gets me from like, oh my God, I hate this fucking show. How can you be this dumb? To like wiping away tears in the same episode because, things happen. For example, when like there's one episode where there's a big fight at prom. There's a big prom fight. Everyone's fighting. I'm like, this is so fucking dumb. It's like something gets like kicked into the pool. It just is super like embarrassing and cringy. And then there's like this really like juvenile little like fight that goes on between like a couple. And you're like, okay, I guess they're kids, whatever. It's just super dumb. I think has this show fallen off? Is it not good anymore? And then 5 minutes later, Miguel walks into Johnny's apartment, and Johnny's like crying, and he's like, they start crying together, and Johnny tells him that he loves him, and then Miguel says he loves him too. Oh my God. And I'm like wiping away tears because you've been with them on this journey, and it's so emotional, and they deserve each other because they've been through so much. They deserve to take a break from all this sad they have to go through. It's so good. They didn't have a dad, okay? They didn't have a dad, and they fucked it up. I'm so sorry. It's so naturally emotional. Just, it's all set up. It's all brought to the forefront. It's all other things to say it's well written. It's well written, it's fun, it's really good. Character is what a person does. All the other shit is the way to explore the character. Rue in Euphoria is not an interesting character because all she does is drugs. Johnny's a great character. Johnny's probably the heart of the show. The relationship between Johnny and Miguel is the heart of the show because Johnny is such a fucking flawed person. He's so deeply awful. Like, he doesn't seem to be internalizing all of the lessons He's growing at a very slow rate. I mean, like, even in the last episode, he's still making fucking bad decisions. You're like, Johnny, no! Just be there for Miguel. Just stop pushing him. He hurt his fucking back. He's gonna be in a wheelchair. And luckily, Miguel's at the point where he can stand up for himself and say, no, I need to do this. He's maturing, and it's nice to watch. And then Johnny realizes he fucks up. He's like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have pushed him. I fucked up. That was bad. I got blinded by my own hatred. So he's aware enough now to not be making all of the same decisions that he used to make. But he's still, like, his programming is to fuck up. His programming is to make those bad decisions. I love it. He's a total asshole, but it's like he's taking kids that need to learn to stand up for themselves, because no one ever taught them how to. So he is essentially, his goal in the entire show is to be a father figure to a bunch of kids that never were told the lessons in order to survive in an aggressive, upsetting world. They weren't taught these things, and Johnny's gonna take it upon himself to do that. And it's really sweet, but it's also informed by his terrible relationship with his son and all the fucked up shit he did when he was a young father. It's so human. Every character feels so fucking human. Like, even the kids, the students, they're all teenagers, but they all feel like real people. They don't just feel like dumb teenagers. But they're all dumb is the thing. They all feel like they're actual teenagers. You know, unlike Euphoria, where they all feel like fucking adults because they're all naked and fucking each other in front of you. And like, it's not like the characters in Cobra Kai aren't interested in sex. I mean, they're teenagers in high school. It's just, it's not porn with kids in it. That's that's the difference between Euphoria and Cobra Kai. I swear, I was so high on Cobra Kai I was so high on Euphoria when we first talked about it here on this show. But then after finishing Cobra Kai, I was like, this is better than Euphoria. Fuck Euphoria. Euphoria is good. But yeah, all of the students are well written, and that was the part that I didn't think I was gonna really like, was all of these kids. But they're the bulk of the show is them, and it's all the same level of quality as everything else. There's a couple of weak links. I think they really try to humanize Tori, but it's an uphill battle because they wrote her as just a monster in the first season, like just an antagonist for Sam. And like the first two seasons, I mean, she's crazy. She's crazy. Wait, I think she was, I forget, was she in the first season? I don't remember, but she's crazy. Tori is an extremely violent, aggressive psycho. He brought some brass knuckles to a karate fight with spikes on them. What a crazy ass bitch. Like, oh my god. I'm sorry, but I don't care if her mom is poor. Like, she's crazy. And I guess she's getting more and more humanized as it goes along, but I don't know. I haven't seen her really repent cutting up the bitch's arm or anything. Like, that was pretty fucked up. Another thing I like about the show is the way it utilizes the karate. Because it's not the point of the show. The point of the show is not karate, which I think is amazing that they're able to make me feel that way. Karate is a vehicle for the emotional conflict. It is something that pushes forward all of the interpersonal drama. Because that drama is the point of the show. The emotions are the point of the show. Karate is there in service of it. And in fact, you could probably say that karate is a very toxic presence in their lives. And they'd all be a lot better if they never got into karate. Because now it's so out of control, you have to do more karate. Like, there's no way we can avoid violence at this point. But it probably would be better if this karate shit never got started. Because it's really gotten out of hand. Everything has been going to violence so often. Like, it's the gang wars. Like, me and my wife were like laughing because it's like literally, oh, he stepped on the wrong fucking territory and eyeballed me the wrong way. Let's go beat him up. And that's gonna escalate to someone in the hospital. Like, it's got that realism. It rides that line between that cartoonish, like, choreographed kung fu kicky Not really how high school fist fights work at all. Style with really realistic consequences. At the end of season 2, when Miguel is kicked off of the banister and ends up in the fucking hospital because his spine is broken, it really brought everything to a head. Like, I think that was the moment I really loved the show, because I was like, oh yeah, yes, you're in human bodies, you're fucking fragile, and you're kids, and this is a high school, and you guys are having a gang fight. That's 100%. We could talk about honor and respect and all of these elements of karate philosophy that are kind of fun in a cheesy 80s Star Wars-y kind of way. But at the end of the day, you're all real people. And if you kick someone in the chest near a banister because it looked cool after the opponent showed you mercy for a short amount of time, and that person is thrown off of the banister, they break their fucking spine. And then you have to run away. Like, there are sort of realistic consequences. Sort of realistic. It rides the line. It's not gonna say, oh, Miguel's just in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, and it's not gonna do that. Because Miguel's like the main character kid, and he's gotta do karate, so. Season 3, he's got, he's got his spine problems, and then in 2 episodes of physical treatment with Johnny, who's doing experimental shit he has no understanding of, they fix his legs and he can fight again. But at the end of season 4, he overextends his back in a kick, and it comes right back. It comes right back, and it's like, oh yeah, no, your back is hurt, fucker. You can't just do a kung fu flip like that and crazy kick. Like, I'm sorry, but your body has limitations now. You broke your spine. Every time karate stops in the show, it's like, oh, thank God. You're gonna fuck things up even further. Because typically, if you watch something like Karate Kid, and then if the final battle ended up with the bad guy winning, or like karate just stopping. Like, one of my favorite moments in the season 4 finale was Miguel just not coming to the mat. Normally, if the karate doesn't happen, you're like, what the fuck? I came here for karate. It's like, no, you came here for all these characters. You came here for all the drama, and you came here for all these relatable aspects. And you get all that. And it's funny to have a show that's explicitly about karate where you're happy when no karate happens. You're like, oh, thank fucking God. I will say season 3 and 4 are a bit messier than seasons 1 and 2. They're just not quite as clean, but it's probably just, there's a lot more moving parts now. There's a lot of history, and like, it can't be that simplicity of Johnny versus LaRusso anymore. There is a lot of other elements happening now. And like, they're not even fighting anymore, Johnny and LaRusso. I can't remember his fucking name. Johnny and LaRusso aren't, it's not a simple 1v1 conflict. It's like 1v1v1, but one of them is a crazy murder Nazi. One of them is just a guy who wants to empower kids, and then the other one is all about defense and serenity. Can I just say, I understand that Miyagi's perspective was really good for like personal philosophy. However, it's not extremely good for winning a karate championship where the winner is decided by who lands the first punch. Like, it was just, I love Miyagi-Do philosophy. I think it's great. But there is flaws in it. And there's flaws in Eagle Fang karate, and there's a lot of flaws in Cobra Kai. And it's interesting to see where the cracks are and how people are going to exploit that. And that's all my favorite stuff in the show is definitely these 3 institutions run by individuals with perspective and how they battle it out. And it's not as clean as when there was 2, when there was Cobra Kai versus Miyagi-Do, offense versus defense, aggression versus non-aggression. And then you see Johnny kind of realize, like, oh fuck, aggression only is kind of a problem. I like what they're doing with Johnny's character, so I'm okay with all of the more messy elements. I understand they had to cut some shit out and like certain characters had to be written out. I'm pretty sad that Aisha got written out. She wasn't a great actress, but her character had so much going on, and like I don't give a fuck if she's not a great actress. Really, in this show, you get a hell of a pass. Everyone can be not that great an actor. Ralph Macchio is not a great actor. Every time he's given something emotionally complex, he does like the same thing, where he just like kind of pushes his eyebrows together and like, I'm sad right now. But yeah, the show gets me from yelling with excitement to calmly accepting, like, yeah, you know, that character did need to lose. like I really want these character to win, but at the same time, I'm like, you might need a loss right now in order to grow properly. But for example, Eli needed to win this season, in season 4. Hawk really needed to be put to rest so that Eli can have his own confidence, and now Eli has restored his confidence and he got a win. And I'm excited to see where his character goes from here. I think his character development for everything we've seen in the show might be sort of resolved, so maybe it's time for him to fall to the side and be a supporting character because he's a bit more developed than everyone else, and I'm happy to see him not have to endure so much personal pain. Give another character a shot. Give another character a little day in the sun. Bring Aisha back. Fuck it. I can't see how they can keep this going forever, though. It seems like it's got a lot of wheels. Like they're gonna be able to take it pretty far before it gets completely divorced from reality. But it's gonna happen. There's no way they can keep it going forever. However, it doesn't seem like it's coming to a close anytime soon. I mean, typically the 5th season is around where it's like, okay, either we're ending it or it's gonna start getting bad. So we'll see. But so far, it's been really good. There's some dumbness. Like, oh my god, the popular girl liking Dimitri was so, like, what the fuck? No. Why would she... Number one, Dimitri's a shithead. He's not even like a good guy who happens to be a nerd. He's a little bitch, but he's also kind of mean. He's a mean little bitch who likes to hurt people, but also is a scaredy cat. I don't know, that dude's in need of some development. I guess he didn't win a few karate fights, and I'm happy for him, but just to automatically have the hottest girl in school interested in him. I don't want to say the hottest girl in school because they're children, but, you know, the popular one. The popular blonde girl. That's her character. For some reason interested in this Magic the Gathering playing dweebus. Whatever. That's one dumb thing. The healed spinal injury in 2 episodes was pretty dumb. I don't know, it's very soap opera vibes, but it's good. And that's the thing too, soap operas run forever. Soap operas go for 40 fucking years. And there's part of me that thinks they can do that with this. There's part of me that thinks that this show will never stop. Will keep going forever. Because at the age where Johnny and Daniel are too old to be doing karate on TV, these young kids are gonna be sensei age. You know what? I haven't even talked about the fact that it's a sequel to Karate Kid yet. That's not what we're here for. We're not here just for Karate Kid nostalgia. We're using Karate Kid as a jumping off point to tell these new interesting stories. And that's what fucking makes it. It's actually doing the nostalgia reboot thing correctly, as good as it can. Because it clearly adores its source material. It's not trying to ignore it. We see clips from the first 3 all the time in the show, but it's all to inform new drama and new conflicts, but just taking the old school philosophies, bringing them to the forefront, and honestly, testing and critiquing them. Miyagi-Do karate is not, you know, the holy godsend of how to do karate anymore. There's problems. There's problems with only doing defense, because sometimes pure defense loses. Because you get hit in one strike. Just defending yourself, not being aggressive, doesn't always work. And that's very interesting. And it's very brave to do to your source material. Like, imagine if, like, for example, if Star Wars had a character who was a Jedi say that the Jedis aren't that good. What do you do then? Piss off a lot of people on the internet's what you do. there's so many cool memories I have that are associated with Cobra Kai that have nothing to do with the original 3 Karate Kids. And I never even saw the second 2. I only saw the first Karate Kid. I love that movie. I think it's a masterpiece, but the other 2 I have no nostalgia for, and a lot of the moments are taken from them, but they aren't taken just to remind you of them. They're taken and used. There's this way to do it, and then there's like that new Matrix movie where you just be so self-aware you want to throw up. But no, this is a lot better. This is a lot better than the new Matrix movie. Just real quick, the Matrix movie was really, the new Matrix movie was a 5 out of 10. Super boring action scenes. I guess the Matrix. How's it gonna have bad action? I'd rather it not have had action instead of bad action. It's like they were making the Matrix and like, we gotta have action. Like the story didn't even need it. It's so personal. The best scenes were when people were sitting around and talking. And even then, Keanu's not like a good actor. The stakes were low. I had no idea what was going on with the lore. You really have to be like a diehard Matrix fan to follow what the fuck is going on. But I was entertained throughout. I mean, I was just a little embarrassed, but I was intrigued. It was interesting. 5 out of 10. Anyways, Cobra Kai. I really like Cobra Kai. Anyways, that's about all the time I could fit into today for the audio recording. Go watch Cobra Kai if you haven't. It's quite good. 8 out of 10. Euphoria is an 8 out of 10. Matrix is a 5 out of 10. Those are my rankings. I'm kind of out of shows to watch now, so if you guys have any recommendations for shows and shit, I've been watching Star Trek. I've been like the old Star Treks. Deep Space Nine is really good. My wife's watching Voyager with me. It's fine. Maybe I'll talk about Star Trek next week. Anyways, thanks guys. Have a good week. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.